Hey everyone, welcome back to Not Financial Advice. Today we're going to be talking about this concept that I came up with that I thought was somewhat interesting called net life, not net worth. Why your net worth might not be the best measure for your success. I keep seeing these videos of people talking about how much my net worth is at this age or why you should have this much net worth by this age. And while I think this might be a useful benchmark, I also think it might be somewhat toxic to obsess over these kinds of things. And in this video, I want to propose a different way of looking at things through what I'm going to call your net life. I do want to preface the video by saying that I think it's everyone's goal to have a secure retirement. If you're 20 and not thinking about when you're going to be 65, that's completely understandable, but you probably should at some point, and at least give it a little bit of thought, because being old and broke is not really a place that I personally would want to be, and I think you can probably agree with me in that statement. So finding ways to have money when you're old is important. And I think this is where I'll come in with maybe some unconventional and a little bit divergent advice from what most people on YouTube and finance places will tell you. Every financial person online will tell you how important it is to save this percentage of your paycheck and to make sure that you have this amount of money saved by this age. But I'm not that sure that this kind of math and thinking works for everyone. Some people just cannot save money for the life of them, no matter how hard they try. It always seems to slip away. But those same people will manage to pay their rent every month without fail for years. And if you think that maybe you're this kind of person, here's my recommendation. I highly recommend that you find a way to scrape together enough money to put a down payment on a house, and then pay your mortgage every month instead of your rent. I'm not looking at this at all from the perspective of what might be the most optimal way to save your money, where and how you should invest it, blah, blah, blah. That stuff doesn't work for a lot of people. This is purely just talking about real life and human psychology. In the real world, sometimes it's just not possible for people to save money, but somehow, magically, every month, their rent payments or their mortgage payments are made. For 25 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, they'll make these payments. So by purchasing a home, if you're this kind of person, it might be a great way to help secure your retirement without really having to consciously save money and trust yourself not to touch it. And arguably, you get to have fun and spend a bit more money than the guy who's saving a ton of money and having less fun, even if he might make it to whatever his number is faster. But if you don't care too much about ending up at the top of the financial pyramid, then this is a really solid way to have a decent life. And you can build strategies on top of this as well, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. I want to talk about company pension plans, especially public sector companies like teaching, healthcare, government at various levels. This is such an easy way to save money, and a lot of the time, at least here in Canada, you literally have no choice, and you will be getting a pension when you retire, whether you like it or not, depending on the job. If you stack this type of career on top of forced savings through a mortgage every month, I don't really see a world where you don't retire without enough money to meet your daily needs. Sure, maybe you won't be going on 5-star vacations to 5-star hotels, but you'll at least be able to take 1 or 2 vacations a year, go camping, maybe make some extra money on the side when you're retired, and you can just coast on the various pension plans that are available to you and a completely paid down home. And I'm not saying that any of these jobs are easy or easier even than the private sector. Every job is hard and challenging in its own way. But what I'm saying is that if you can set up your life in a way where you don't even have to think about saving money, the concept of net worth doesn't even cross your mind on a daily basis, you can still end up okay by the time that you retire. It just takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of trust in your institutions. And I know that might be hard for some people these days, but there are still very solid institutions out there. So What does this concept of net life mean, and why should you care about it more than your net worth? While it might seem like everyone on the internet is a millionaire or ultra rich, this simply isn't the case. For every person with 5 million followers, there are 4,999,999 people watching that are not doing as well as the person that they watch online. There simply is not enough super special or super lucky individuals in the world who can become multimillionaires. The total number of people in one of the cities with the highest concentration of wealth in the world, New York City, that are worth over $100 million. That seems like a lot of money, and we always hear online about these guys or these billionaires, yada, yada, yada. You know, they hit the news headlines so often. How many people do you think are worth over $100 million? Oh, wow, it must be in the thousands, maybe the tens of thousands. There must be so many of these ultra-rich people. It's 744 in New York City. That's fewer people than my entire high school was. So the total number of millionaires over $1 million is only 349,000 people. And you know what the population of New York is? 8.25 million. If we do the math on that, how many millionaires are there in New York? It's just over 4%. That is not a great probability. If you just look at pure numbers, I'm not talking about, oh, maybe I can do it, you know, I'm a really good saver, yada, yada, yada. Literally doesn't matter. If you just look at pure statistics, 4% is a very, very small amount. You have better odds at the casino on some games. So my point is that you don't have to, and quite frankly shouldn't, obsess on what your money is doing. Because just looking at pure statistics, the numbers are not in any of our favor. What should you focus on instead, if not how much money you have in the bank every day? Well, you should focus on setting up your life in a way that will let you have a good and enjoyable life today, next week, next month, next year, filled with a lot of meaning in your career and filled with the people that you want to be around, and will also enable you to have a good life when you retire. It might not be exceptional. It might not be all this crazy stuff that you see online and all these people making these millions of dollars, but it can be enough to make you happy and fulfilled and to enjoy life with a few luxuries from time to time. Set up the systems and the team around you to enjoy the little time that you have on the planet, and don't get caught up in the rat race to see who can die with the most money. It's Henley and Partners, and they have this list of people, how many millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires there are in a certain city, and the numbers are quite small. Like, you would be shocked. Like, it's not that many people, and you know, I have a little bit of a biased perspective because I live in Toronto, and I just so happened to land an apartment in a very, very rich part of the city. And I see like people driving really nice cars every day, and you know, and I think it's really is skewing my perspective on what a normal life is. But I'm being realistic, and I'm saying for most people, that's not how life is. I'm still sitting here renting my apartment. I don't own my home, quite frankly. Like, I'm having a hard time finding a job right now. The economy sucks. Thank you guys for listening to the video. Hopefully you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.